Have you ever asked for something and felt like the answer was taking too long? What if I told you that the delay wasn't denial, but preparation? You see, when you align with a higher plan, the answer doesn't just meet your expectations, it exceeds them. What's coming your way is far greater than what you imagined. And today, I'm going to show you how to position yourself to receive it. Have you ever prayed for something and felt like the heavens were silent? You cried out, you believed, you waited, but nothing seemed to move. And just when you were about to give up, something happened. Something so big, so unexpected that it left you in awe. My friend, that's because when the divine responds, the answer is never small. It's always greater than you imagined. You see, we often pray from the level of our own understanding. We ask based on what we think is possible. We calculate, we measure, we try to fit the answer inside the box of our own limitations. But let me tell you something, your box is too small. The answer you're waiting for doesn't belong in a box. The moment you spoke your request, it was already being arranged, but not according to your small vision. It was being arranged according to a plan much bigger than you. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a small river trying to hold back an ocean? It can't, because the force behind the ocean is greater than the capacity of the river. And that's exactly what happens when you pray. You might be expecting a little stream, but what's coming is an ocean. The delay isn't a denial, it's a preparation. Because if you're going to receive something greater, you have to be ready for it. And that's where so many people miss it. They think, maybe I asked for too much. Maybe I should just settle. Maybe the silence means I won't get an answer. No, the silence is the sound of something bigger being prepared. You don't plant a seed today and expect a full harvest tomorrow. Growth happens underground first, where you can't see it. But just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Let me tell you something. Expectation is the magnet for manifestation. If you expect something small, you will receive something small. But if you expect something beyond what you can comprehend, you are positioning yourself for something extraordinary. The problem is most people give up in the waiting. They get tired, they start doubting, and they walk away right when the answer was about to overflow. I don't know what you've been waiting for. I don't know how long it's been. But I do know this. If you could see what's on the other side of your patience, you would never doubt again. You stand with confidence, knowing that the answer coming your way is bigger than what you asked for. So don't you dare settle. Don't you dare shrink your vision. The response has already been released, and it's going to exceed your wildest imagination. But here's the question. What do you do while you wait? How do you hold on when everything around you is telling you to quit? Because if you're not prepared, you could miss what was meant for you. And that is what we're about to uncover next. Have you ever felt like you were running out of time? Like the thing you've been waiting for should have happened by now? You look at your life, you look at the calendar, and you start to wonder, did I miss my moment? Did something go wrong? But what if I told you the timing isn't off, it's being perfect? You see, we live in a world where we want things instantly. We pray today and we expect to see results tomorrow. And if we don't, we start to panic. We start questioning. We start thinking, maybe it's not meant to be. But let me ask you something. If you plant a seed today, do you expect a tree overnight? No, because there's something called process and there's something called timing. There is a perfect time for what you're waiting for. And if you get it too soon, you won't be ready for it. You see, just because something is delayed doesn't mean it's denied. Some of you are frustrated, but the truth is, the delay is actually your protection. You're asking for something big, but are you prepared to handle it? Because what's coming is greater than you imagine, and if you're not ready, you can lose it. Think about it. Have you ever seen a fruit forced to ripen before its time? It might look ready, but when you bite into it, it's better. Why? Because it needed more time. Some of you are looking at others, comparing their journey to yours, wondering why their door opened before yours. But hear me when I say this. You don't want what's not ready. You don't want something that looks good on the outside, but isn't developed on the inside. And let me tell you, the timing is not just about the blessing, it's also about you. While you're waiting, something is happening in you. You're growing, you're learning, you're developing the strength, the wisdom, the character to handle what's coming. Because when it comes, it's coming bigger than you thought. And if you don't have the capacity to hold it, you'll end up dropping what was meant to be yours. So if you've been waiting, don't be discouraged. Instead, start preparing. Because when the door opens, you need to be ready to walk through it. When the opportunity comes, you need to have the wisdom to recognize it. The timing is not working against you, it's working for you. Now, here's the question. If the answer is going to be bigger than you imagined, then shouldn't you be thinking bigger? Shouldn't you be preparing for something greater? Because what's coming next is not just about you. It's about something so big, it's going to impact everything around you. And that is what we're going to dive into next. What if I told you the answer that's coming is not just what you asked for, but so much more? What if I told you that while you were praying for one thing, something greater was being arranged behind the scenes? You see, we often ask for the minimum, but what's coming is the maximum. And when it arrives, it's going to shake everything in your life. Most people pray based on what they think is possible. They ask for just enough to get by, just enough to solve the problem, just enough to feel comfortable. But let me tell you something. You were never designed for just enough. You were designed for overflow. And when you align with that, you stop thinking small, you stop expecting little, and you start preparing for something greater. But here's the challenge. Can you handle something bigger? Because when the answer comes, it's not just going to bless you, it's going to affect everything connected to you. Your family, your future, your purpose is all going to be impacted by what's coming. That's why the preparation season was so important, because what's on its way is not something small. It's not something ordinary. It's exceeding your expectations. Now think about this. Have you ever seen a small door open up to a massive building? No. Because the size of the door has to match what's behind it. And right now, some of you are standing in front of doors that look too big for you. You feel unqualified. You feel unprepared. You feel like maybe it's too much. But hear me. The size of the door matches the size of the promise. And when it opens, it's going to come in a way you didn't expect. It's going to be greater than your logic, bigger than your plan, more than what you calculated. That's why you can't afford to be stuck in small thinking. Some of you are still asking for something that you've already outgrown. You're asking for something that was meant for your past level, but what's coming is forward, not backward. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to start thinking differently. Stop asking for what's reasonable and start expecting what's undeniable. Start preparing for what's comfortable and start getting ready for what's transformational. Because when it arrives, You won't have time to second guess it. You won't have time to hesitate. You need to step into it with full confidence. But here's the question. What happens when what's coming is so big it feels overwhelming? What do you do when the blessing arrives and it's more than you ever imagined? Because if you're not ready, you might just walk away from what was meant to change everything. And that is what we're about to uncover next. Have you ever felt like you were stuck in a waiting room? You know what I'm talking about? That season where you've prayed, you've prepared, you've done everything you know to do, but nothing seems to be moving. It feels like time is passing, like opportunities are slipping away, like maybe, just maybe, you were forgotten. But let me tell you something. You were not forgotten. You were being positioned. You see, waiting is one of the hardest things to do, especially when you don't understand why. But here's the truth. Waiting is not wasted time. When you're in a waiting season, something is happening that you can't see. Doors are being aligned. Connections are being arranged. Pieces are coming together in a way that makes the destination greater than the delay. And the problem with most people is they misinterpret the waiting season. They think it's a punishment. They think it's a sign to give up. They think it's a rejection. But what if I told you that the waiting room is actually the delivery room? That what you've been praying for isn't being denied, it's being developed. And if you receive it too soon, it won't have the impact it was meant to have. Have you ever watched an archer pull back an arrow? The farther back the arrow is pulled, the farther it will fly. And right now, some of you feel like you're being pulled backwards, but what you don't realize is that it's setting you up to be unched forward. The resistance you feel isn't there to hold you back. It's there to build the force needed to propel you into something greater. But here's the challenge. How do you respond in the waiting? Do you complain? Do you doubt? Do you start looking for shortcuts? Because let me tell you something. Shortcuts will never take you to destiny. You might think you're saving time, but you're actually sabotaging the process. The only way to receive what's meant for you is to stay where you're supposed to be for as long as it takes until the door opens. Now, listen carefully. Some of you are at the end of your waiting season, and you don't even know it. You're right on the edge, right on the brink of breakthrough, but the enemy of your destiny is trying to convince you to quit too soon. Don't fall for it. If you could see what's on the other side of this season, you would stand strong. You would wait with expectation because what's coming is worth it. So here's the question. When the waiting is finally over, how do you handle what's been released? Because the answer that's coming is going to be so big, it's going to require you to think differently, move differently, and operate at a new level. And that is what we're about to uncover next. What if I told you the answer that's coming is bigger than what you asked for? What if I told you that your vision was too small, your expectations were too low, and what's about to be released is greater than anything you imagine? You see, most people pray according to what they think is possible, but the answer is coming from a place beyond what you can comprehend. Have you ever walked into a room expecting something simple, but what you received was beyond your expectations? You came looking for a drop, but instead a flood was waiting for you. That's exactly what happens when divine plans unfold. You were expecting a small breakthrough, but what's coming is an overflow. And this is where most people miss it. They pray for an opportunity, but when it comes, it's too big for them to handle. They ask for increase, but when it arrives, they're not prepared to receive it. They wanted a door to open, but when it does, they hesitate because it's wider than what they expected. And hear me, if you're not ready, you can miss what was meant for you. Think about this. Have you ever seen a child ask for something they weren't ready for? They might want to drive a car at 10 years old, but if you give it to them too soon, it will destroy them. And that's exactly why some things took longer than you expected. Not because you were forgotten, not because it wasn't meant for you, but because the size of the answer required a level of preparation that you didn't even realize you needed. But now, you're at the place where the door is about to open. And let me tell you, when it opens, it's going to be so much bigger than what you thought. The opportunity is going to be greater than what you imagined. The increase is going to be more than what you were prepared for. So let me ask you, are you ready? Because this isn't just about you. When the answer comes, it's going to affect more than just your life. It's going to shift your environment, change your connections, open doors for people around you. What's coming isn't just an answer. It's a transformation. And if you're still thinking small, if you're still expecting little, you might just walk away from what was meant to elevate you. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to expand your thinking. Stop preparing for just enough and start making room for abundance, because what's about to be released is going to require more capacity. And that leads us to the next question. If what's coming is bigger than what you imagined, then how do you handle it when it arrives? Because the blessing is not just in receiving, it's in sustaining. And that is what we're about to uncover next. What if I told you the biggest challenge is not receiving the blessing, but sustaining it? What if I told you that what's coming is so big, so transformational, that if you're not prepared to handle it, you could lose what was meant to elevate you? You see, most people focus on getting the breakthrough, but few prepare to manage what comes with it. Have you ever seen someone pray for success, but when it arrived, they couldn't handle the weight of it? They wanted the promotion, but when they got it, they couldn't manage the responsibility. They wanted the opportunity, but when it came, they weren't disciplined enough to keep it. They asked for abundance, but because they never learned how to manage little, they lost everything. That's why what you're about to receive is not just a blessing, it's a test. A test of your capacity, a test of your mindset, a test of your ability to steward what's been given to you. Because if you mishandle what's coming, you could end up back in the same place you started. And that was never the intention. Think about this. Have you ever poured water into a cup that was too small? No matter how much you pour, it overflows and is wasted. That's exactly what happens when you receive something bigger than your capacity to manage. It spills over, it becomes overwhelming, and what was meant to bless you ends up being lost. That's why this season is not just about preparing to receive, it's about preparing to sustain. And here's the truth. What you're about to step into is going to require a new level of discipline, a new level of focus, a new level of thinking. You can't operate at the same level you did before. You can't manage something greater with the mindset of less. That's why this process is taking time. Because before something bigger is given, the person receiving it has to be enlarged to handle it. Now listen carefully. Some of you are about to receive a shift so massive that it will change everything about your life. The way you think, the way you move, the way you handle opportunities. It's all about to be transformed. But here's the challenge. Are you willing to let go of old habits to walk in this new season? Are you ready to release small thinking to operate at a bigger level? Because if you don't shift internally, you'll struggle to sustain externally. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to start preparing not just for the arrival, but for the responsibility that comes with it. Because when it comes, it won't just change your life. It's going to impact generations after you. And that leads us to the next question. If what's coming is mean to last, how do you build a foundation strong enough to carry it? Because elevation without stability leads to collapse. And that is what we're about to uncover next. What if I told you the weight of what's coming is too heavy to stand on a weak foundation? What if I told you that the blessing, the breakthrough, the increase, all of it requires a structure strong enough to sustain it? Because you build on the wrong foundation, no matter how great the blessing is, it won't last. Think about this. Have you ever seen a house built on sand? It might look beautiful for a moment, but when the storm comes, when the pressure hits, when the weight of reality sets in, it collapses. Why? Because the foundation wasn't deep enough, wasn't strong enough, wasn't built to handle what was placed on top of it. And that's exactly why so many people lose what was meant to be a lifetime blessing. They wanted the success, but they didn't have the character to sustain it. They prayed for opportunities, but when those opportunities came, their habits couldn't support the new level. They asked for more, but their mindset was still stuck in less. Let me ask you, if you received everything you've been praying for right now, could your foundation hold it? Could your mindset handle it? Could your discipline sustain it? Because what's coming isn't a temporary breakthrough. It's something meant to elevate your life permanently. And if you're going to receive something permanent, you need to build something solid. And here's the truth. Building takes time. A strong foundation isn't built overnight. It's built through discipline, through preparation, through daily habits that strengthen you for what's ahead. And that's why this process has taken time. Because before the blessing arrives, the foundation has to be secured. Before the opportunity comes, you have to be positioned to handle it. Because what's coming is not going to be small. It's going to shake your entire life. Now listen closely. Some of you are in a season right now where it feels like everything is being tested. Your patience, your endurance, your mindset, and you're wondering why. But hear me. Testing reveals strength. If your foundation is weak, it's better to find out now than to receive something great and watch it fall apart later. Because when the blessing comes, when the opportunity arrives, you won't have time to fix your foundation. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to stop focusing only on what's coming and start focusing on who you are becoming. Because this isn't just about receiving a blessing. It's about being the kind of person who can sustain it. And that leads us to the next question. If the foundation is secure, then how do you step into what's coming with confidence? Because hesitation at the door of destiny can cause you to miss what was meant for you, and that is what we're about to uncover next. What if I told you that the door you've been waiting for is about to open, but the real question is, will you have the confidence to walk through it? What if I told you that the opportunity, the breakthrough, the elevation you've been preparing for is here, but hesitation could cause you to miss it? You see, most people don't fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they lack the courage to seize it. Think about this. How many times have you seen someone get exactly what they prayed for, but when it arrived, they doubted themselves? They questioned if they were ready. They wondered if they were qualified. They let fear talk them out of what they had been waiting for. And before they even realized it, the door that was wide open closed it, because hesitation kept them from stepping forward. And that's the danger of fear. It will paralyze you right at the threshold of your destiny. It will make you second guess yourself when you should be moving forward. It will whisper lies that make you shrink back when you were called to step up. But hear me, fear is a liar. If the door has opened, then that means you are ready. If the opportunity has come, that means you have what it takes. And let me tell you something, you don't have to feel ready to be ready. Some of the greatest shifts in life happen when you step forward in spite of fear, in spite of doubt, in spite of the unknown. Because confidence is not about having all the answers. It's about trusting that everything you need will be given to you as you move. Now, here's where most people miss it. They wait for the perfect moment. They wait until they feel qualified. They wait until there's no risk. But let me ask you, what if that moment never comes? What if the perfect time is right now, but you're too busy waiting for a guarantee that doesn't exist? Because the truth is, greatness requires movement before clarity. You don't see the full picture until you start walking. And I know some of you are standing at the edge of something huge right now. You're feeling the weight of it. You know this is the moment you've been waiting for. And at the same time, fear is whispering, what if you fail? What if you're not enough? But hear me. The only failure is not trying. The only mistake is letting an open door close because you were afraid to step through it. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to make a decision right now. No more hesitation, no more excuses, no more waiting for the perfect time. If the door is open, it's time to walk through it, because what's on the other side is greater than you imagine. But once you step in, how do you maintain the momentum? Because confidence gets you in the door, but consistency is what keeps you there. And that is what we're about to uncover next. What if I told you that stepping through the door is just the beginning? What if I told you that receiving the blessing, walking into the opportunity, stepping into the new season, that's not the end goal, it's just the start of something even greater? You see, most people celebrate too early. They think once they step in, the work is over. But the truth is, getting there is one thing, staying there is another. Think about this. How many times have you seen someone rise to success only to fall just as fast? How many times have you seen people start strong, full of passion, full of fire, but then somewhere along the way, they lose momentum? Why? Because they never built the habits to sustain the level they reached. They were ready for the breakthrough, but they weren't ready for the discipline that came with it. And that's where so many people miss it. They get the opportunity, but they don't manage it well. They get the position, but they don't keep growing. They step into the new level, but they bring old habits into a new season, and it pulls them back. Because hear me, the same habits that got you there won't keep you there. Let me ask you, what happens to an athlete who trains for years to win the championship, but after winning they stop training? What happens to a business owner who builds an empire, but then stops learning, stops adapting, stops growing? The same thing happens every time. They lose what they worked for, because success is not a one-time event. It's something that must be maintained. And here's the key. Momentum requires consistency. You can't show up strong one day, then disappear the next. You can't push forward in one season, then relax in another. You can't reach a new level and then expect things to sustain themselves. No, you have to be intentional. You have to be disciplined. You have to develop habits that keep you growing, keep you building, keep you expanding. And I need you to hear this. This isn't about working harder. This is about working smarter. This is about creating a rhythm that keeps you moving forward. Because the moment you stop growing, the moment you stop learning, the moment you stop being intentional, that's the moment things start to decline. And what was once a breakthrough can become a burden if you're not prepared to handle it. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to make a decision that you will not just be a one-time success story. You will not just receive the blessing, you will sustain it. You will not just walk through the door, you will thrive in the room, because this is about legacy. This is about impact. This is about building something that will last. But there's one more thing you need to understand, because success is not just about what you do for yourself. The final key is understanding how what you've received is mean to bless others. And that is what we're about to uncover next. What if I told you that what you've received is not just for you? What if I told you that the breakthrough, the blessing, the opportunity, it was never meant to stop with you? Because true success is not about what you can get, it's about what you can give. It's about how what's been placed in your hands can impact the lives of others. Think about this. Have you ever seen a tree eat its own fruit? No. The tree produces, but the fruit is for others to enjoy. And yet, the tree is never in lack. Why? Because as long as it keeps producing, it keeps receiving. That's how true abundance works. What flows through you determines what continues to flow to you. And this is where most people get stuck. They pray for abundance, but they want to keep it all to themselves. They ask for more, but they don't want to release anything. They receive the breakthrough, but they forget the profit of why it was given. But hear me, selfishness stops the flow. Because the moment you hold too tightly to what was meant to be shared, you block yourself from receiving what's next. And let me tell you something. What's in your hands right now is somebody's answer. The knowledge you've gained, the wisdom you've learned, the opportunities you've walked into, someone is waiting for what you carry. And if you don't release it, if you don't use it to build, to uplift, to pour into others, you're not just delaying their blessing, you're limiting your own. And here's the truth. Legacy is not built by what you accumulate. It's built by what you contribute. Because no matter how much success you achieve, no matter how much you acquire, if it dies with you, it was never successful. Real impact is measured by what continues after you're gone. So let me ask you, who is benefiting from what you've received? Who is growing because you grew? Who is being lifted because you refuse to stay small? Because at the end of the day, success without impact is empty. But when you use what you've been given to empower, to inspire, to elevate others, that is when your life takes on meaning beyond just you. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to shift your mindset from just receiving to releasing, from just growing for yourself to building for others. Because when you become a channel for something greater, you will never experience lack. The more you give, the more you create space to receive, and that's the ultimate key to a life of abundance, impact, and legacy. The time is now. No more delays, no more excuses, no more waiting. The blessing is here. The door is open. The opportunity is in front of you. What will you do with it? Because the choice is yours, and your decision will determine the impact of generations to come.